crazy winds last night. I was up half the night thinking my hoop house was going to be blown away. It's not. Just the sandbags came loose. And I thought everything was fine until I saw the back has blown open and about 40 feet of plastic blowing like a net crazy. So I just have to tuck this back underneath and eventually we'll put a door on the back here, but we haven't done that yet. It's no big deal. No big deal. I'm just one person gonna fix it. Here we go. Hello. I mean, I guess I can go in here, right? We have a back door now. Yeah, so all of the sandbags just, I guess, came loose and now I have a tunnel. I think everything's okay though. Yep, everything looks good. Woohoo! So I'm gonna exit my tunnel via this new door and tuck this stuff back in. Okay, clearly I was doing a time lapse and my phone fell over, but I was able to tuck in the plastic and move the sandbags. So whew, that is exhausting, trying to wrestle all that plastic by myself, but no big deal. Got it done. We have some leaf litter on the roof. That's just a sign of things to come in the fall, I suppose. Oh well, everything looks good. A little wind whipped, but it'll all bounce back. Hi flower friends. I'm gonna be chased by some chickens right now. Woo-hoo. I am headed down to the lavender field. Hi, what you guys doing? And I discovered something the other day and I'm having some regrets. So many of you guys know that I planted the lavender field, I would say last June. So I planted a few hundred plugs and I live in zone 4B, which is pretty cold. It got down to negative 25 this winter. The winter before we only saw negative 17. So it varies from year to year. But I consulted with a cut flower expert of mine, Dave Dowling, and he had 3 recommended varieties for me to grow for my zone. Those varieties were Munstead, Phenomenal, and Hidcoat. So I ended up getting, I think maybe 115, 120 plugs of each. So I had a little bit over 300 plugs to put in the ground. And I shared that video of me planting them with you guys last year. And I also showed you guys how much growth they put on in just a few months. Then in the fall, I knew that I needed to protect the lavender. So I had originally planned on covering all of the lavender with frost cloth, and I did that in part of a video with you guys. There were hundreds of comments from people. I actually got emails from lavender farmers who told me I didn't need to cover it, that my snow would act as an insulator, and to try that out. So for just as many people were saying, you don't need to cover your lavender, I had the same amount saying you absolutely need to cover your lavender. So what I ended up doing is leaving some of the lavender uncovered because I wanted to show the difference between lavender that was covered and lavender that was left out to the elements. I gotta say, I didn't think the difference would be this drastic. So I came down here the other day and I took a peek at the row that's not covered. Not the rows, there's a lot of rows that are not covered and looks pretty dead. So it was a little jarring. It's kind of white looking, really doesn't show much signs of life. So let me take a peek underneath the row that's covered and wow, what a difference. Look at all of this green. There really was just a huge difference when it came to the plants that were covered. This is obviously going to make it. Here is a plant that wasn't covered. I'm not sure if this is going to be okay. I suspect it is because I can see some green along the bottom. Like, look at this one. I mean, I just, if you look way deep down in there, I can see some green. But when you look at this and compare it to this, I'm having some regrets that I didn't cover all of it. And I really think this whole row looks pretty good other than the top. A little bit of frost damage, freeze damage on the top, but I don't think that's gonna be a problem. This plant's gonna be amazing. Oh man, I guess, you know what? I'm chalking it up to another lesson learned in the garden. And I'm so happy with the way that this looks, that whatever comes back, comes back. I don't think the other ones are completely dead. I'll probably lose some, and you know what? That's okay. So I'll keep you guys posted on whether or not that other lavender is going to come to life. I did do some research, and I found that a lot of times that's kind of normal for it to look like that when it comes back without winter protection. I've looked over probably about 3-4 dozen plants, and most of them have little signs of life, whether or not they're going to come back or not. These ones, however, I am confident these will be great. Hello, lovies. I gotta get in here and I gotta weed. I have like 2 big weeding projects. I have to weed the peony bed and I have to weed the lavender bed, and I'm gonna put wood chips down and see if I can suppress the weeds for the season, for the spring, for like a week. We'll see. Yeah, so actually I'm gonna just be happy with what I have. These are the rows that we have, and then the last couple of rows are lilacs and berry plants, etc., etc., viburnum. So yeah, these plants look amazing. The rest look kind of crappy, but we'll see what happens. I don't know if you can see this, but you see all these yellow flags? 2 years ago, I planted witch hazel trees, and they're actually not doing too bad. So we'll see if anything ever happens with those. And then these pink flags, which are kind of white now, those are all pussy willows. Those are actually coming up. You can actually see a lot of that. You can see these were just little baby 4-inch plants when I put them in the ground a couple years ago. But so this whole entire space is filled with pussy willows. So clearly I should have trusted my gut, and my gut told me cover all of the lavender. But now when someone asks me to justify why I covered my lavender, I have this experience to look back on and say, well, one time I didn't, and I paid the price. So another lesson learned in the garden. Thanks for sticking around, guys. We'll see you soon. I know a lot of people have been wondering about the flower forest. This is the space, and it's still too early yet to see any hellebores or columbines, which is where I littered hundreds of hellebores and columbines in here. So we will see if anything comes back this year. So fingers crossed. You look so good. You're so alive. I love you. I guess I'm yawning today. Why? Why? Oh, you're alive. It's alive. See? It's alive. There's green. Doesn't look very good. I'm a bad mom. Sorry.